Hello and welcome to Keep On Cybertrucking, a podcast where Cybertruck owners share their experiences, talk about all things EVs and technology. My name's Eric. We have Chase and we have Will here. Will is very close to the screen. He wants all of his time, his me time, and he's wanting you guys to check out the new haircut. Check out
my beard is the best feature on my face, so
Got a follicle check.
gotta.
There you go. So
For
today,
those of us unfortunate to be watching, I'm sorry.
Today marks a big day for us. Multiple things. Number one thing, I'm not sure if you guys realize, Chase and Will, today is our 6-month anniversary of doing the podcast.
Wow.
So
I didn't get you guys anything though.
hey,
Our
you
month
showed up.
anniversary.
That's all we needed, right? The second thing is not only are we live on YouTube, but we are also live on X, right, Chase? We're live.
Yep. Yeah, I can see.
So we're live on X, we're live on Instagram, IG, as the kids call it, and that's something that's pretty exciting. And hopefully we are able to garner more viewers and listeners, and kind of share our experiences with them. So, pretty hyped up for this. So, and in a celebration for it, I want to do something real quick. So I have a giveaway that I want to do.
Oh
for
hell
everyone.
yeah!
So. What I have, I did a
Hugo,
video.
Jay, get in here.
Yeah. So I have the Cyber Wallet, which was given to me by the good folks at TAC. It's a stainless steel wallet that can hold, I believe, 8 cards, and you see all my fingerprints, just like Cybertruck.
Cool.
Need to wrap it.
What's funny is that I have a little swatch, I should say, of my wrap, and I was going to wrap this, but then I kind of thought, I'm going to do it as a giveaway one day, so why do that? But if someone wants it wrapped, I'll wrap it for you. But yes, this is going to be a giveaway. If this is something that you're interested in, go ahead and leave a comment and just put in there raffle Cyber Wallet, and you'll be entered into the contest. So good luck to everybody.
Get on it.
Yep. Sweet. Now getting down to
just real quick on the wallet. Does it have like the RFID blocking stuff?
Yes, it does.
And all the others? So
yes.
That's pretty cool. I'm curious because usually, like stainless steel itself isn't enough to block RFID, so like they almost have to sandwich a little Faraday cage inside of it. So I'm curious what the build quality looks like. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's actually really cool, and I like it. Here, you know what? Just because you're asking these questions, let's go ahead and take a look at it. So there you go. There's your value, $49.
Yeah. Get these people riled up.
Yep. There it is. Some pictures. As you can see, it's stainless steel. It weighs 120 grams. It is RFID. Can hold 1 to 8 cards. And it has that little mechanism at the bottom. Right here. Here's your RFID
is that
protection.
like push out the cards?
Yeah.
Yep. Right here. You push it out. Store your cards in there.
That is nice.
It's really nice. It's kind of cool, It's Cybertruck, so
kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the wallets that have the slide out cards, because it's mainly just cards now.
Yeah, I bought one before. Who was it? There's the other company, MKBHD has a deal with them, but
Ridge.
Yeah, there's another. Yeah, Ridge.
We don't talk about them. Okay.
Ridge.
It's okay, but. I was just gonna say I bought like my little wallet thing like before even they started, selling these newer ones. So yeah, I don't even have the little button pop-up thing. I gotta push the cards out with my own finger, like some peasant.
First world problems.
Completely.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into some of the topics. Well, hold on. We got Jay, right? Jay's in chat. So hey, Jay.
He heard me. He came running. He's like,
yeah. We have Mark in chat, and so thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, Mark's right. Yeah, you need something else to slow you down going through the metal detectors at the airport.
Yeah. We get them on you. But let's get into some of the talking points today. So, unfortunately, this one isn't a pleasant one, but let's go ahead and get to it. There was. A few weeks ago, there was the first ever fatal Cybertruck accident.
Houston.
Yes, so it was in Texas, the Houston area. I don't know, Chase, do you want to take this one as far as I know you're down in Texas. You probably know a little bit more than I do.
We kind of speculated, mainly because it was at 2 a.m. and the fact that the impact caused the battery to ignite said a lot of details, but we really haven't had any like real close details of the truck outside of the video that we're actually seeing right now. That was the only detail we had. But recently, if you're gonna pull that up, we have more photos of the aftermath, which is devastating. It makes me question if it was a cyber beast that he was driving very, very fast.
Do your photos have an injury lawyer advertisement plastered in the middle of them too?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of odd? Like seeing a wrecked Cybertruck, be like, attorney at law. You're like, ugh.
Yeah,
bad social media, bad.
Yeah, so you can see, the metal is definitely.
But the panels held up. I mean, I don't know. I mean, steel is such a high melting point compared to aluminum and whatever other composites they use.
But the front is just completely mangled and melted.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. This will hopefully you went peacefully on impact, because it looks like that was probably the case, because that's a high rate of speed to get that kind of damage.
They haven't released any kind of accident, any kind of intel. It was just responding to fire found.
I think more like the more publicity this is getting, the more people are kind of probing into that and asking Tesla for response and see if they got the data or not.
Yeah.
Because obviously the headlines like, hey, Cybertruck, fatal death, fire, all this, it's all the buzzwords.
Yeah.
The key is missing, by the way, in the vehicle.
The key is missing.
Oh.
Well, I know that initially they couldn't even. I mean, obviously it was, they
couldn't even tell.
It was. There's a lot of damage, so it was hard for them to really identify much of anything. But
right.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's kind of the update on that.
On the flip side, we have seen plenty of wrecked Cybertrucks that have people walked away from. So
yeah,
exactly.
And there's still kind of a part of me where it's like, I know that in the lead up to the Cybertruck coming out and everybody getting them, we didn't really see a lot of crash data, and that was something that a lot of people kind of really bellied about back in. I remember November, December, January. Everybody's sitting around kind of being like, shouldn't they release like the 40-mile-an-hour crash, results, or any kind of information about the airbag deployment and photos with crash? None of that happened. So I've kind of been wondering what's like when there's enough totaled Cybertrucks, like genuinely totaled ones, if someone is going to go back and kind of piece together all that bit of safety data that's been missing.
I can see that.
Yeah. Well, let's moving on to another accident, or potential accident, I should say. So this Cybertruck was able to avoid getting an accident due to their steering and obviously quick maneuvering. But that's one thing that we talked about last week, is the fact that the four-wheel steering really helps with maneuvering and the agility of the Cybertruck. At first, I'm going to pause it here. At first, when I saw the video, I was like, okay, well, that seemed more like quick reflexes, which it was, right? But when you continue the video, you really see how close it could have been for the Cybertruck owner. And that's where it really changed my mind, where I thought about it and I went, you know what? If it wasn't for the four-wheel steering, I think they would have had a little bit more of an issue. So 100%. Let's go ahead and continue the video here. He goes back to check on the people that crashed. But right here, they're going to show the camera from the side view, and you see how
just a little kiss on the back tire,
man.
Just like
that was.
It's just so close. And that could have been enough in that maneuver to actually lose control of the Cybertruck. It doesn't 100%. Take much. Yeah, just to knock it off of traction in the right spot.
Yeah, but like, I mean, you just remember the physics of what's happening in with that rear steering, because if it's compensating, first off, this will be the kind of clip that I want everybody who is bellying on Twitter about like there being some lag in the steer by wire.
Yeah,
I'm like,
100%.
Well, here's your example, a real world example where it was fine. It timed out fine. But then the other thing is like, yeah, when you're doing that maneuver, it's like the wheels are both turning in unison. So instead of changing the angle that you're going at and accelerating in a new direction with two wheels that aren't like directly going in the same direction, you start to encounter that skid in one set of the tires. So, but if both tires are mimicking the arc of the radius of the turn that you're doing, then you have four wheels on the ground at all time with traction until, I mean, if you were to do it way too hard, but yeah,
there's something to be said about having that, the speed and acceleration and the nimble steering, because it gives you capability, and that keeps you safer on the road. Like if you would have probably done the same maneuver at this speed, say in like an F-150 stock, it could have been a different story. You could have easily lost control with a jerk like that.
Exactly.
Well, they do go on to say in their post, this video debunks that stupid vid of the guy saying this drive-by steering is slow to respond.
Yep.
I'm very confident that I had been in my Ram, I would have been in an accident as well.
Is there an echo in here? Because that's like spot on.
Yeah.
Just get him in the podcast.
Exactly.
I didn't even read that. That's funny.
That's madness.
So yeah, it goes, like I said, it goes back to what we were talking about last week when I forget the employee from Tesla that was the autopilot full self-driving employee stating that the Tesla vision for parking, it was coming first because it's so difficult to park the Cybertruck, and we all three of us disagreed with that statement because of the four-wheel steering. It really does make, like I said, the agility of the Cybertruck that of a car, and some would even say like almost like a sports car, because it's a big vehicle and it's a heavy vehicle, but being able to have that maneuverability is something that's huge.
But I mean, and then also remember when, the discussion of heavy vehicle, it's like, but again, it's an electric vehicle. So the center of gravity is so much lower than it is in any other car that you put the center of gravity that low close to those tires working in unison and all four providing, traction and thrust. I mean, I imagine the thing's on rails up until God knows how fast.
Which, I mean, that's a perfect segue too, because over this last week I did go test drive a Model 3 Performance, and the one thing that I missed about the Cybertruck was the steer-by-wire. Like right away, it's night and day. And I think I keep saying it, that they need to add steer-by-wire to all the vehicles moving forward.
100%.
I know there's still kind of talk and kind of speculation about like the Model Y refresh possibly next year, but if they came out with the Model Y refresh and put steer-by-wire in that, game over. Like it's going to be a new era for Tesla.
I think everybody's going to be pursuing the potentials of the steer-by-wire, the 48 volt, and the Etherneted connection, if only because of the weight reduction and the amount of copper you save by having it all set up that way. I mean, that is kind of the thing where it's like, if the other manufacturers were interested in cutting their costs and maybe putting in more, having that money left over for other features, they could do something like that. But we'll see. I still got that freaking Mach-E, by the way.
Thank you for your service.
Do we want to get Will back on the Mach-E? I don't know if we do.
I feel like I covered everything last time pretty effectively.
Has it got better or worse?
It's just gotten like this. Like I know why it does certain things now, and I'm still like, that's stupid. Like there's a button to turn it on. I mean, like you have to get in the car, you have to key, and then you gotta put your foot on the steering wheel and press the button. And I'm like, okay, normally it's just brake and the gear shift, but it's like, oh, I have to press a freaking button. And then when you get out of it and you walk away, and then you get it honks at you because you forgot to turn it off because it's a stupid ass car and I hate it. But I've charged it at home. It gave me some weird messages on screen, and I don't know. I'm just so ready for my Rivian to come back.
What are they doing again to your Rivian?
The panel gap alignment gremlins that only haunt Tesla seem to have got drunk and headed over to the Rivian factory. And when I took my R1S, the front, I mean, there should have been a few cars that night without panel gaps, I guess. But the R1S, the front passenger door, whenever it turned, it would rub on the fender panel. And it was cracking the paint. It was making a really loud noise. Wow. It started bending the metal. It was so poorly aligned. And, the unfortunate thing is that Rivian's got, not as big of a service infrastructure as Tesla does, and even that's saying a lot because Tesla isn't that massive. But so I mean, originally it took me 2 months to get an appointment, and then once I got it in there, it had already like bent and like cracked the paint and all this stuff. So the guy messaged me like, "Oh man, yeah, we had to replace the panel, so it'll be another week or whatever." But hopefully, I'll have it on Friday.
Okay, that's crazy. That's
yeah.
I've never heard of that from Rivian. So it's interesting.
The panel gap gremlins, they go everywhere.
Apparently.
They always stay away from all ICE vehicles. I don't know if you knew that. They never a panel gap alignment.
It's funny because I was looking more into the Lightning, and I realized the Lightning also has that dial that's in the middle of the screen.
Oh my god!
And I started asking more questions about it because it sounds dumb that all it'll do would just kind of be a tactile input for
that's literally
volume.
all that it is. It just doubles the input that you can already use with other buttons and elsewhere in the damn car.
But apparently there's more functions on the Lightning version than the Mach-E, because like you even have like dial controls for the tow parking thing, like where you're like dialing it in to like hook up the tow hitch.
Okay.
So it does have more functionality there, which makes more sense because the only real reason to have a dial in the middle of an LCD screen that you then have to have a custom LCD screen for yada yada is to help so you can have tactile input. If you don't have anything in the Mach-E that you need tactile input for, then it's kind of silly.
It's dumb. I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's just, I mean, yeah, and it's like, I think did we talk about it last week? Because I sent the photos to you guys where it was like, 70% battery or some, it was like 50% battery and only had 100 miles of range on it. And it's like, okay, so that means it's literally 200 miles of range as its max, and it's the same size as the same size battery as the freaking Model Y, which does like 50% more than that. So
that's disappointing. Real quick, we got Hugo in chat. So what's up, Hugo? Glad you made it.
Don't tell about the giveaway.
No, definitely tell him about the giveaway. Tell your friends.
You came too late.
Hugo, we're doing a giveaway, Hugo.
Yeah. By the way.
You missed it. We're giving this away. So, got to leave down in chat. Well, I guess once I post it, then you got to go into the comment section and leave comment raffle cyber wallet. But on Instagram, which is kind of weird, we're on Instagram now. I don't know if we're going to do it again because all it is Will's face. I don't know why it's only Will's face.
Perfect.
Well, because I made the face. I did the, like the typical thumbnail thing.
This is just funny, so I'm going to share the screen. This is what we're seeing. This is all we see. We did get a question though. We got some comments in here from Wade 406.
Oh, it's the math on the copper savings.
Yeah. So he wants to know the math on the copper savings.
Oh dang! I don't have the Instagram one open. I guess we could just mention it live. But it was a significant reduction in both weight and cost, I believe, because they Ethernet connected all the different devices together, which implied that each of the devices can act like a node on just a network, and therefore you don't have to have redundant separate systems, even though they do. And I forget what it was, but I mean, I think that when they announced that it was one of the kind of the landmark things that they were touting for the Cybertruck, I think that it was when Elon was like, "Yeah, I sent every other car maker a whole like manual about switching over to 48-volt architecture in the car, and just using Ethernet connections so that you can get rid of so much wiring in the car."
Let's get into we were going to get into the Vision Park Assist, so let's go ahead and dive into that, because this is kind of controversial because, like what we mentioned earlier in the show and we mentioned last week, Cybertrucks are going to get the Vision Park Assist before we get full self-driving. And reasoning behind that was because Cybertruck is apparently difficult to park.
You got to doing something about it, because it's
it's
been too easy to park. Well, I wonder though, my only question with this is, does it give us the parking sensors? Because that's a necessary thing that we've been missing out on since day one.
So the audible noise of getting too close to something, I haven't seen that from anybody yet.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't had this update come to me either yet.
No. You can use Park Assist with or without audible feedback. There you go. To turn chimes on or off, go to Control, Safety, Park Assist chimes. So you do get the audible feedback. So that is something that took me at least a few weeks to get it used to in the Cybertruck, because I was so used to every vehicle I've ever owned having that. Mm-hmm. And when parking, you're like, am I too close?
Especially a truck.
Yeah. Well, for me, my other truck was a lot bigger, but yes.
The Ford Mach-E definitely has that feature, by the way.
Well, there you go. So who cares about the push button start and lack of range? I mean, it has the audible feedback, but I'm going to be happy to have it back, because there are times where it's like, I would like to have that, right? I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Well, even remember Sandy Monroe, when he got his Cybertruck, he backed straight into a wall, like almost immediately, because he thought that they were gonna have like some kind of chime, like everyone assumed. Especially if you've driven Teslas before, it's kind of a well-known thing.
They're like, that's not what the Cybertruck's for. It's Cybertruck is for just Kool-Aid manning through the wall, just boom, oh yeah.
But yeah, so this kind of sparks the conversation again. Full self-driving. So Cybertrucks are starting to get this update with the Tesla Vision Park Assist. I haven't received it yet. Chase, you haven't received it yet either, right?
I thought that they that somebody had figured out that it's not going wide. It was going to like that small cluster release super early on, like the November to December. The employees essentially were the ones who were getting it, but they were the ones that actually took delivery, and you saw on the road.
Yeah, that's seems to be the case. So it's it's the slow rollout, right? Is what you're saying. So the slow rollout. There's a lot of people. So for instance, I'm in a group chat with a bunch of other Cybertruck owners, and we were talking today, and they were asking the question, when are we going to get full self-driving? And some of them are hoping for like a September 1st release, and that's not going to happen. I think what we've speculated for months now, it's going to be released right there with Robotaxi event. And that's not till mid-October, right? Mm-hmm. Technically, 10/10. So, yeah, I think it's just one of those things where we got to kind of take it as it comes and just understand that it's coming, but it's just not here yet. So,
it would be wild if they didn't like the full self-driving. If instead of like turning on the city streets beta or whatever the names of the new different fragments of FSD is called, like it would be interesting if they were to just roll it out to highway, like just give everybody basically the enhanced autopilot on the highway with navigation and on-off capabilities. Like go back to the basics of what built original FSD, and then kind of splinter it off from there. Because for some reason it doesn't seem like you're going to jump into a Cybertruck and have parity immediately on day one with the other vehicles in the fleet that they've obviously trained the data around for so much longer.
It's going to be different. It's going to be a weird period where everyone's going to try it out, and then something's going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be like a warning they'll have to give people. They're going to be like, look, I know you've got a Model X, you've got something that what FSD does. You got to be extra careful, because this is not going to be like jumping in your Model X, but instead it looks like a Cybertruck. This is a different vehicle, and it's still processing, learning it. So.
Yeah. So I want you guys to elaborate on that a little bit more, because once again, in that chat, some of the guys were asking the question, like, what's taking so long? So can you guys talk about as far as what Tesla is looking for in order for them to actually push out full self-driving? What are the benchmarks that they need to achieve?
Well, roughly? I mean, the basic one is the, how many miles before intervention? Like that's the bare minimum.
Exactly.
I could see the data being skewed though, because Cybertruck is still so new, and there's so many people trying to like cut me off and flip me off at the same time. It's not like driving a typical car. Like if anything, when I drive my wife's Kia, it's like, oh, what, people are not looking at me? Like something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like something feels weird. No.
Can you make a sign that says, "Do you want my referral code?" ? So anytime they're flipping you off, just like hold it up. Be like, "You want one too?" Like,
yeah,
put it as a magnet.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're looking for all that data. But good segue, because I wanted to get into.
I was gonna say. So I think that the thing is, and Chase is the software industry person, so he could probably tell me which ways I get this wrong. But I mean, for something like this, they always talk about how there's different parts of the software that they have to validate and approve, or in the case, I guess, of the learning models that they're using, that they kind of need time with Dojo or whatever the iteration of the full self-driving cluster is that actually does the processing for building full self-driving and then releasing the new updates, they have a lot of things to check. The car, it's not as simple as does car drive on road.
Exactly.
I mean, it may start at the very bottom of the checklist of does car know how to move forward? Does car know how to stop? Like these little things that they have to validate works every single time before you put it in a car with a human being in it. So I think that they have a whole new beast, the cyber beast, if you will, to program this for. And I think that like we've kind of indicated in the past, the vehicle is so different from everything else in their fleet that they have been building full self-driving at the same time as they're developing the fleet, that now the Cybertruck is limited in numbers compared to the rest of the fleet and has next to no drive data compared to the mass of the fleet everywhere else. So they've got to apply a fair amount of rigorous testing to ensure that it just gets it even as good as the Model S from 2013 or 2014 when it first had the autopilot suite. And that can be a high hurdle for how they're applying it. So I think that it's just one of those. I think it's one of those, like, everybody wants it. I get it. I mean, if I still had the Cybertruck, I'd be like, man, freaking, anything, please give me something. But the fact is, good things are worth waiting for. And this 100%. Is one of those things where you don't want to get into it and use it with it having it stops for stop signs on the right side of the road, not the ones in the median. Sorry.
Exactly. Right turn, not left turn.
Yeah, they've just got so much to adapt into it, and it's been so much time spent adapting it to the other vehicles in the fleet that now to adapt it to a vehicle that's been driving for 8 months, 7 months or whatever on the roads. I just, I think that it's just going to take however long it needs to take.
Well, speaking of data, and I don't think I've mentioned it on the podcast, but I was looking, I checked this maybe a few months ago, and it wasn't this high, but looking at the data going through my router, shout out to Ubiquiti. I've got a really cool Wi-Fi system. So I've got all the data, every single client and what they're using. And then if I look at the Cybertruck, it's been uploading hundreds of gigs of data to the cloud, and it's going straight to Amazon AWS systems. And in the last month alone, it's been 637 gigabytes of usage, and that's all uploaded. I checked this months ago just randomly, and it was in the 90s. So it's definitely ramped up. They're trying to get the data in, trained up, and get it out there as soon as possible.
And that was pretty common back in the day. Was with the rest of the fleet, it would be. Early days of when everybody was still waiting for FSD. We paid for it. Where is it? Well, we have enhanced autopilot with navigate on autopilot and all these things. And everybody's like, no, give me the thing I paid for. It's that was kind of what a lot of us saw on the routers and everything. Cause I looked at the data for my Model X, I think in 2017, even back in 2017. And every night you get home, maybe gigs, just gigabytes of data, depending on how much you drove that day. Because it's 8 cameras and drive data, all of it, all the diagnostics across the board. Then they have to ingest all of it for your next day of driving. Jeez.
And my upload speeds are terrible to begin with, and I wonder if that's why it's been seemingly worse lately. Because I've noticed
because your Cybertruck's
time to get that QoS setting out.
My Cybertruck is sucking off all the upload.
It's doing what?
We're not at that segment yet, okay, Chase?
We haven't got to that segment yet.
But yeah, you guys are 100% right. There has to be the data, because what you don't want, we keep talking about how Cybertruck owners, the early adopters, are guinea pigs, beta testers. You do not want to be in the full self-driving early beta, right? You don't want to be dealing with that. You don't want to be Waymo over here. As you can see right here, driving on this wrong side of the road. What are you
doing? I think it still hits the car, doesn't it? It just keep driving forward and then bumped it.
No.
Yeah. Well, here's the.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah. So
something to consider. I think that people probably have this image of the way that the people who work on the full self-driving team, all of them fastidiously sitting around the computer going over lines and lines of code, being like, "Did you get Chuck's turn coded in last week? Okay, I'm working on the section, that doesn't run yellow lights or something." That's not the way that the software works. This software is such sophisticated technology for where it was and where it is now that you don't have people sitting there kind of programming in that typical sense. So, it's not like a bunch of people who are sitting on their smoke break being like, we'll get to it in September. It wasn't that big of a, they are doing the best that they can with the methodologies that they've applied, which so far, has led them to be the largest fleet of cars that are city safe, level 2 self-driving, the largest fleet in existence from any manufacturer right now. So what they just have to go through the process, but it's not somebody just sitting there on their druthers being like, pissed off and rolling back FSD release another month or two. They have genuine setbacks because they're doing stuff that nobody else has done. So they got to reinvent a couple of wheels.
Yep.
At least 4.
Jay's in chat. He mentions that we were talking about the Tesla Vision parking assist, that his friend just took delivery of his Cybertruck. He's only had it for about a month, and he already has that update. So,
bastard.
That guy's.
Does he have his pedal fixed and all the other recalls fixed? I just got the. That's another thing we didn't even mention to talk about. It's like I got the official. Oh wait. But there's more. There's 2.
Oh gosh.
So next service appointment, those will get fixed up real easy.
Which ones did you get? The wiper.
So the wiper motor, which is hilarious because the wiper I've been using this whole time, it's pretty good. And then the fairing, like the sails, I guess the adhesion on those, which again I haven't had any issues, but
we should be glad that they're addressing all of these things and they're revising what they add to the manufacturing process. So it's
not to mention the ICE vehicles that have recalls that are.
Yeah, like, don't rear end or it'll explode.
Yeah, drivetrain doesn't work anymore. Don't drive it. It's like, what?
I had a recall for over a year on my Ram that had to do with the transmission, and it pretty much telling me the transmission could fail on me.
Wow.
And that it's not that big of a deal. We'll let you know. Okay, well, if my transmission fails on me, what is that? What do you
just don't die?
What are you talking about? Yeah, what are you talking about? So, anyways,
just pull over safely.
Yeah.
Somebody
exactly.
there just counting the money, being like, just pull over. I don't know what to do.
So Will mentioned the referral program, and I wanted to talk about that because the referral program is back. It's something that I think helps Tesla, right? Because we're pretty much Tesla owners are their marketing team, right?
Yep.
People like us who have a podcast and do YouTube content or Instagram content or X content, whatever. We're the ones kind of telling people about Tesla's vehicles. So they opened up the referral program, and in a cheesy way, what I'm going to do is leave Will's, Chase's, and my referral links down below in the description. So if anybody wants to buy
3
Tesla,
Teslas under each of our referrals,
exactly,
that'll be awesome.
Or you can buy 3 Teslas under 1, because Sawyer actually shows that there's a limit of 10 per year.
I was gonna say,
so you can do 10 in 1 year. Anybody that wants to buy a Tesla, or if you know anybody that wants to buy a Tesla, send them our referral link.
Which, I mean, if you had 10, someone did the math, obviously it's 10 times 500, so you could get $5,000 off of another Tesla. And then someone was like, if you paired that with like the veteran discount or the service members discount, you can get even further down in like certain states. But I think it was up to like 13,000 off of a vehicle if you like compounded all those discounts. It'd be really, really cool for a Tesla.
We have Mitch in chat, and he says that he took delivery of a Cybertruck 6 weeks ago. His Cybertruck is usually parked in a garage and shade, but he's starting to see the top plastic on the bed looking wavy from only a couple times exposed to the sun in Yuma, Arizona. I haven't experienced any type of issues with any of the plastic pieces on the exterior of my Cybertruck. I know Arizona gets really hot, but I'm in Southern California and it gets really hot here too. So the only thing I would say is take it into a Tesla service center and let them know, because that seems unusual.
You could always take pictures too, and then attach it with the service thing, and then half the time, even if it's like just a question and answer thing, they'll just get right back to you and they'll text you.
Yeah.
So you don't actually have to go in. Mainly because it's like I was looking for. Funny enough, I was looking to get my fairing replaced from the trip we did a few weeks ago. But like the first appointment,
from your
it's not
shenanigans.
Until, the first appointment is not until like October, so it's like okay, like I don't want to wait all that long. But yeah, if you just text them, they should be able to get back to you, especially if it's a simple question. I was going to add to that. Not only is it hot in Yuma, but these things are also sitting outside of the Gigafactory, and it's been hot as hell in Austin, like 100 plus every single day. So they're cooking outside. So hopefully it's not like an issue that it's just because they're baking at 350 on high or something.
See, this is why Chase is such an asset to the podcast. I mean, he just teed that up.
I know the
really
segues.
nice.
I play golf a lot, so I know how to tee something up.
There you go.
Ew.
Yeah.
It's a dad joke. Ew.
But yeah, getting to Tesla Giga Texas.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, there are a lot of Cybertrucks sitting outside, ready to be shipped off all over the country to make somebody extremely happy. Or is it there's all these Cybertrucks sitting there with no owner and no buyer? I mean, what do you guys think? Or is it a combination of both?
I think a bit
we
of
have
both. So you
seen
said
that
40
people
million?
are taking delivery a lot sooner. I've heard of people placing an order and then within weeks they're already having VINs assigned.
Yeah, so there's 400 trucks out there, which I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I was thinking the former when we were talking about this earlier. I'm like, that seems like a lot of trucks out there that they're not selling. And it was like maybe they're selling them slower than they're producing them, because they're still producing 1,500 a week. So
Something
this
like
is
that.
Literally just half a week's worth of Cybertrucks. You know,
Yeah.
40 million, but 400 trucks out of the 1,500 they produced
So
last
they just
week.
can't get the big rigs out there quick enough.
It could be logistics of like getting them off the lot and out into the wild fast enough. But that does make me kind of question my initial thought that only 400 trucks, that's not as bad as I thought. Like if we were talking about like if there was 2,000 trucks or even like 3,000 trucks out there like 2 weeks behind, then I would say yeah, they're not selling enough as to justify the production speed. But my question is, are those all Foundation series too?
I think they
assume
are.
so.
I mean, right? They have to be.
Yeah, I don't think they're making anything but the Foundation series.
Yeah,
but also, I mean, the Foundation series. I mean, it doesn't have anything specific like in the ingredients that makes it only Foundation series. I mean, it's really just the package of stuff. And I mean, you know, now the VIN number is a little bit less relevant, but it's like it's still just the combination of stuff. So, I mean, if anything, considering their ramp up woes in the past, this may be just a part of it where they're like, look, the demand is there. We're prepared to keep manufacturing them, get the kinks out of the process, and by next year we can be like, okay, everybody, we're ready for the $80,000 Cybertruck. And considering how many reservations are still on the books that haven't been bought, we can assume those people are going to start buying them January 1 or whenever we drop the rope for it. So they may just be one of those. All right, well, we need to still just manufacture these things and we can afford it, so we're just going to keep doing that and we'll sell them later.
Yeah, and they're out there more even in the showrooms too than where we were like months ago. So like when I went to go to the service center to go test drive that Model 3, there was just one there in the showroom. I'm like, that's nice. And it was funny to joke with them about keeping it clean, because that metal in a showroom, it's gonna be a nightmare for fingerprints.
Yeah, with everybody going in there. So it wasn't taped off?
No, it wasn't. I could jump on it if I wanted to.
Oh, we just lost Will.
Oh no, what happened?
I don't know. Hang on a second.
Did he lose his other camera?
I'm just trying to fix stuff. Ow!
It's a new segment called
It's just fine.
Just the chip from the coffee cup.
Just the tech. Yeah.
But
hey, you saw my computer.
Mitch is in chat, and he actually states that from the time that he received his invitation to configure his Cybertruck to when he actually took delivery was less than 10 days.
Wow.
That's about right. I think when I looked this last week, it was like 2 weeks estimate almost.
So that is quick. That is really quick. which is great, right? I mean, it's one of those things for people that have been on the fence and they don't know what they want to do, and then they finally make the decision. It's kind of like, okay, I'm going to place my order, and they're going to get their truck. And so that's exciting. That's really exciting. Something that's not exciting is the fact that there was a robbery recently.
Oh, yeah.
As you can see, somebody broke into the Cybertruck from the driver door window, and they didn't, Tesla says that the windows are shatterproof. And as you can see, it's shattered. It's all stayed together, but they were able to pry open the window by just kind of just like how you would a door, right? They just pried it open, and it just hung there, and they were able to get inside the Cybertruck and take whatever they were looking to take.
That was actually one of the things that I first noticed about the Cybertruck design once you get up close to it. Is that so my Model X, and I think that probably all the other Teslas, they have the thing to the mechanism where when the door opens, actually no, because the model, I don't know, when the door opens, or you press the handle to open it, the door always just opens a little bit, because at the top where it meets the I guess the top of the frame of the vehicle, not the door, because the Model X doesn't have a door that swings with it. It's just the window. So when you close the door, the window slides up into a little lip that makes it inaccessible from the outside. But the Cybertruck, the window doesn't really disappear into a lip. It's still kind of accessible in that like the highest corner near I guess that's the B pillar or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that corner, it's still exposed. And I think that somebody maybe was just like, oh, let me stick a crowbar in there. And they're like, okay,
100% a crowbar for sure.
Well, the story is still don't break into cars, guys. But
you can even see like the two of the shatter points.
Yes,
it almost looks like that they started with the crowbar, because there's two attempts right there up at the top, and that's probably what they were able to get it.
Yeah, they probably popped it twice, and then they're like, oh, it's like listing away from the body. Now I can get it in there. Okay.
Yeah. There even looks to be just a little bit of damage up here, which looks to be those same points. So that 100%. That's probably where they.
Which, like, how stupid do you have to be? Like, for one, like, thinking that we're gonna break into a Cybertruck. Are they like gonna steal whatever like $100 worth of like Gucci bag is sitting there in the seat or something, or are they gonna try to steal the vehicle and realize they can't do shit with it without a key or any kind of way to like turn it on?
I'm in a way, I'm kind of imagining that it's the luxury brand. So if you're just, I don't know what these guys or people or who are doing this, usually if you're stealing stuff, you're already in a spot where you've made some choices that now you're done thinking about it. You're just doing stuff. But I think that they probably just see a Cybertruck. They don't even know what's inside the car. They don't know where to look necessarily. Maybe they do. They've been near one or in one, or they've been breaking into them for weeks. Once, I think that the gamble is pop the window, get inside. Is there anything there? No. Okay, screw it. They just bail. 15 seconds, they're out. Yeah. Or 20 seconds, they grab a laptop off of a seat. They grab a purse. They find a cell phone that's under the seat, something like that. So, but this is, it's not a good look for somebody to just be able to kind of pry open the window like that. Like, no. At the same time, if they're going to break a window to get in, they're going to break a window to get in. There's only so much you can do.
What's more concerning is the response from the owner, Anuj, which crazy that they have the owner's full name in this article, but no alarm notifications. That's interesting. Like, it's weird that it wouldn't notify you.
That's super dumb. Wow.
Yeah, that's the concerning part, and that's where I was going to go with it next, was the fact that they had no idea. There was no notification or indication that their vehicle was broken into. Which is one of the things that I love about Tesla, is that you have all that built into it, right? You don't need to put a low jack on it. You don't need to put an alarm system. You don't need dash cams. You don't need to do any of that type of stuff. It's all built in.
And now people know that if they go around breaking Cybertruck windows, nobody will find out about it until they walk up to their car.
Well, they had Sentry mode on, because they talk about how they saw like video of what happened. So they did have the Sentry activated, but shouldn't have done.
It should have been, normal. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have had it yet, but when Oh, sorry, my brain had a stroke there for a second. But if you get an alarm, that sets off on your car, you get a notification on your phone that says the alarm has been triggered on in the name of your vehicle. So, and it goes to every phone that's registered as a driver or an accessor of the car. So yeah, the fact that somebody popped the window and then like not even the owner got hey, something happened. Like we saw something on Sentry, we detected a broken window. I don't know. That's kind of lame.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's very lame. Moving on, there's another small issue that the Cybertruck has ran into recently, and it's something that I have a little bit of experience with. I think Chase has a little experience with, and that has to do with the L-track.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, there's the piece that kind of anchors the L-track to the Cybertruck.
D.
Is
right there.
Yep. Yeah, D right here. This piece is, how would you say, coming loose, falling out of the L-track, and that could be a possible issue because if you don't have all the L-track fully secured and then you're using tie downs or whatnot, that can cause some issues.
I just realized, do we know for the other accessories that we got, like the bottle opener and all the other ones, are they using that same nut?
No. As far as I know, no. Because I'll give a little story. I think I've talked about this on the podcast. I went off-roading, and when I got home, I went to go wash my truck. I opened up my tonneau and I looked into the bed of my truck, and there was just a bolt laying there. And I'm like, where did this come from? And I got into the bed. I'm down on my back. I'm looking under everything. I'm looking and I couldn't figure out where this bolt was. And I checked those, what would you call it, strap points, and even the bottle opener. And I thought, well, maybe it's the bolt from one of those things. And no, they were all in there, but they were totally different bolts.
Oh, okay.
So the bolts that are holding down the L-track are much, much larger. If it's all the same as what this piece is. So
yeah. And so just to kind of show, so like with the L-track, you have these circular holes that like the bolt needs to go in, and then it just slides over one bolt length, and it kind of fits into place. And you can tighten it down. It's really easy to get in and out. The issue that I have with the L-track, because this actually happened to me with my Molly panel, like one of the side Molly panels, is that I put the nut in, slide it or slid it over, but in the back of the L-track, I don't know if that forum post even has a photo of it, but in the back of the L-track, there's actually like circular access points the same size as the bolt that go into the truck. So I still have the bolt, it's just in the truck, not where it needs to be.
Yeah, that's and it's something that's just kind of, I don't want to make a big deal, but oh my god, we lost Will again.
No, I'm still here. The audio will work forever. I don't know why the camera keeps changing though. That's stupid. I'm using Droid Cam, and it's getting frustrating.
Okay.
But you should never go into the bed of your truck, and there should just be pieces laying there.
Right.
And so it's concerning because, and we lost Will again.
I'm fine. Just turn off the video. Stop looking at me.
It's an audio podcast now, if it will.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's looking at this. Jesus. This is in me. You guys are gorgeous. I don't know.
So it's concerning from the stand, and I don't want to sound like crazy, like I don't want to be one of those guys, but it's just if pieces are coming loose, we lost Will.
I'm just here to entertain, man.
If we're finding pieces in the bed of our truck,
right?
I mean, what's falling off the truck that we don't know about?
Yeah,
and going into the road.
Yeah,
it just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. The fact that there's pieces coming loose, and the L-track is not the most important thing. You want it to work, so you want it to stay together, but it's not the most vital part of the truck. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's this one, like the cascading decisions of design that, like, I'm sure that those holes were put there for like a certain specific thing to be able to have access to be able to either quickly take it off or put it on, whatever it may be. But the flip side is like, oh, okay, well, the actual L-track pieces, and what's interesting is that like I've got like another L-track piece that bolt doesn't look like anything like what we're seeing from Tesla. So that's, it's odd that like this would not fit through there and fall away, and it works.
I feel like this is one of those situations where, it's like, this is kind of an area where it'd be like, hey, Tesla, answer some of these questions. Like, because in my experience with these cars, there's a reason why I've owned 4 of them at this point. The car is thought out in a way that other cars never are, like a Mach-E. Like, nobody thought about the inside of that car. They just did something, and it was awful. But every electric vehicle, generally, there's some thought process to the little refinements and the nuances and how it caters to a new generation of driver. And I always thought Tesla was ahead of the game with being like, wow, they really went minimalist. They really went with really smart, intuitive placement of things or removal of things. But the thing that they used to do with the Model S and Model X deliveries was that you used to get like a 30-minute walk around with somebody who would get in the car with you, show it to you, blah, blah, blah. And then they would take you on a test drive to make sure you knew you were satisfied with the way it drove, not just the way it sat in the warehouse. So the fact that you've got the Cybertruck now, which is at the same price point of the Model S and Model X, but they're like, even the guys, when I did my pickup, they didn't have a lot to say because they didn't even know that much about it.
Exactly.
And this just seems like one of those situations where it's like, I'd love if somebody from the design team got a microphone and just said, yeah, so those bolts that you're holding, they're actually for the L-track. We were supposed to give everybody a bag of them, but somehow they got lost. The idea is that there's so many of them that you can keep adding in if you want and not worry about if you lose them, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to sell them eventually for like $20 for 100 or something like that. Just some gap in that information and be like, oh, you know what? That is really, really interesting and a good idea, but nobody's conveying that.
Or just a simple thing, because like I checked, what's funny is I have 2 spare bolts from the Molly, the panel, but I don't have 2 spare nuts. I don't have 2 nuts spare, but I have 2 bolts spare.
Yeah,
which doesn't make any sense. That would have been the easiest fix. To be like, all right, we know that this circle is prone for user error, so we'll just give you a couple just to be safe, at least one couple extra. But the fact that like one person on the forum and myself, like, that's just 2 anecdotes. Like, who knows how many are gonna happen in the wild and not talk about it online. So
100%. Yeah, it's weird.
The little things.
Last thing I wanted to talk about is something that was news to me. I found this out today, and I'm really excited about it because every car I've ever owned, well, I shouldn't say every car I've ever owned, but a lot of the cars I've owned recently, I always have SiriusXM in it. And I subscribe and I enjoy their content. The early Teslas used to have it, and then they got rid of it. But apparently, in a new software update that's upcoming, Tesla is adding SiriusXM internet streaming, which I'm pretty excited about, because if this indeed is coming to Cybertruck, I'm gonna love it and sign up and have that in my Cybertruck. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I wanted to share that with everyone, just for anybody else that is excited about SiriusXM.
I like SiriusXM. I've only used it on road trips because vehicles that I had would have it available. Pro tip: unless Will, you actually do have just the tip for this week.
For what? For the Sirius?
For anything.
Just for anything.
Do you have just?
Yeah, don't buy a Mach-E. It's 2 weeks.
Other than don't buying a Mach-E, but I might do just the tip and say,
I'll think about it.
Are looking.
We can both give it the tip. It'll be an Eiffel Tower.
If you're taking a long road trip and you don't have SiriusXM and you don't want to commit to a full like service, what you can do is call them up and be like, hey, I got a promo in the mail for whatever account. Like, can you get this hooked up? And they'll just give you like a month for free. And then you could just cancel it right after. So they're very, very generous when it comes to like free trials. So if you have a long road trip, get a free trial for Sirius, take the trip, and then cancel it after you. I've done that now like 3 or 4 times.
Look at that.
and they haven't come after me yet.
Gather around, kids. I'm going to tell you a story about 2006. Oh, I bought a Sirius radio back before the merger. So there was XM radio and Sirius radio back in the day. And they both seemed like terrible ideas. Nobody was super interested. And I still kicked myself for not buying that lifetime subscription the first like 6 months that they were out. Because for $500, you could get a lifetime subscription forever for them. People like nowadays, I used to pay for SiriusXM because it was the only place I could find a heavy or aggressive music station, which is clearly something that I'm into.
Really?
And a lot of other and then a lot of other like music that was a little bit more off the beaten path. Like I was kind of sick and tired of trying to chase down music. I wanted curated options. Sirius was a great place for it. I've been really, really thrilled. Jose Mangan does an amazing job. I mean, he literally has done like you really can't put into words how much he's done for like metal and aggressive music community. Sirius is I love that the early Model S and Model X actually had the Sirius radio hardware in the vehicle, all of them. They came standard with it. And then you could turn it on or off, much like they did in the early days of most vehicles, coming with SiriusXM, and they even still do it now, where it's like, first 3 months is free, and then they're going to sign you up for something later on, whatever. And this day of Spotify and YouTube Music and all these different streaming services, personally, I've never really found anything as good as SiriusXM was, because it's somebody curating your music. Yeah, you'd hear the same song every once in a while, but you'd hear so much new music that some human out there, not some algorithm, was like, yo, I just heard this band by this band Black Flag, and everybody in the band is under 18 except for one member. What's up? Here we go. And it was just awesome. Like, you could get that kind of stuff. So the downside, though, to the app being the only way of doing Sirius, the fact that they got rid of the hardware, is that if you're somewhere without a data connection to the car, the app won't work. Versus a radio station, which still use satellite radio and a satellite receiver in the car, it would still work if you were out in the middle of the desert, hot rodding with Eric and his buddies in the dry lake bed. But yeah, it's cool. I like that they're adding more apps. I wanted to see this. The iPhone would not have been the iPhone if it wasn't for the app store, the app environment, and all of that shit. Like, we're at that part. Make some apps. Make it so I can do some other cool stuff in my car. Put in a weather app, or I don't know, just something. Start opening up that environment. I don't even care if I have to pay for it. Yeah,
Steam.
Well,
all of the above.
Many will be cross with that forever.
So I love the fact that they added YouTube Music, because I kind of use that quite a bit.
I use it.
I just use YouTube in general for like a lot of both medias as well as audio content. But YouTube Music, I think,
subscribe to that Butter EV guy.
Yeah, exactly. So it pushed me back into getting the YouTube Premium, because you have to have Premium to do the YouTube Music. However, I wish that, given with the Cybertruck and also the updated Model 3s that we're now seeing having the rear screen in the back for the passengers, I would love, if you're using YouTube Music in, up in the cab, that you then play the video that comes along with YouTube Music back for, the people in back. Because like, even if you wanted to do like rideshare, that's just kind of a cool thing. Be like, hey,
that would be cool.
Something, and be like, oh, here's the music video that goes along with that, what we're listening to. Except Uber, because Uber doesn't like Cybertruck, and you can't Uber with Cybertruck. So
yeah,
shout out to Lyft.
Sponsor us.
So yeah. And then something also kind of in that vein, I was thinking, so the Rivian at the end of this summer, I think sometime next week or the week after, we're supposed to get an update which allows people who attach to the hotspot to be able to Google Cast or Chromecast to the screens. But everybody doesn't know exactly how that's going to work, if it's going to be the rear display or the front display. But that's a little bit, like one cool thing ahead of what Tesla did. It's like you could have somebody in the backseat and be like, if you were doing an Uber drive in a Rivian, you could be like, just connect to the hotspot, and you can, play anything you want on the screen down there and have a great drive.
That's nice. Yeah.
Well, let's get into our weekly segments of What Were They Thinking and Wrap of the Week. This one is not so much what were they thinking, but it's more of a kind of interesting and fun thing that somebody did with their Cybertruck. So this has been circulating, no pun intended, around the internet, and as you can see,
he's got it running in there.
Somebody's running a washing machine in the back of their Cybertruck. As you can see, it's a handyman. But yeah, so that I mean, it's funny.
It's
right?
Texas, it's Dallas.
This just straight reminds me of the episode of South Park from a little while ago, where like AI took over everyone's job, and then like like everyone. Oh no, sorry, no, it was everyone was working from home, and then everyone had all this money, and then but nobody knew how to like fix anything anymore. So like handymen were like the new billionaires, and they were like rolling around because like everyone was just like, "I'll pay you whatever, just fix my toilet, just fix my toilet." This is what it reminds me of, like a handyman running around in $100,000 Cybertruck.
He's like, I'm gonna need a retainer.
Exactly.
Now, one thing I will say is, for a handyman to be able to afford a Cybertruck is
It's impressive.
You would think that he would have better graphics, because that handy and man sign, it just looks a little crooked and not proportioned, and so
Mark's got it right. He's like wash and drive. I wonder if it has a scale in the back. You can weigh the laundry, and then he just drives it around.
Well,
he's a handyman, so obviously he does it himself, but he's not good at graphics.
Exactly. He goes, does she dry and fold too? I mean, hey, if they do all of that, come to my house. Drive from Texas to California, and you can do all my laundry. I would love it.
If there's enough room to put both a dryer and a washer up there, it would be just hilarious to have this thing going down the road and someone just like changing out the laundry mid, stoplight.
Yeah, just moving it over.
Someone called that guy Jeremy Judkins. I feel like he's the perfect candidate to be like, you should put a washer dryer in the bed of your truck and drive it around. It'll make great content. You'll probably make like $30,000 off the first hour of watches.
100%.
Get on that TikTok train.
Yeah, you know what?
You can put your feet in it and everything. It'll be great.
I gotta go, guys. I gotta go do some YouTube videos.
Get some feet stuff.
But last thing I got for today is our wrap of the week, which I thought this one was freaking hilarious. And somebody wrapped their Cybertruck in Doge.
Wow.
So
like, is this like a double negative makes a positive? So because like they call the truck like a meme truck, but then it's wearing a meme vinyl wrap. So it's like, if a meme of a meme, does that make it like normal? Does that like is it just a normal car now? It makes
it cool.
That's a Honda Civic now. Like, it's just blah.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, this is
I can get behind this.
Yeah, it's. Well, we were talking about. Chase mentioned that some dude did the same wrap in a McLaren, and I just look at it,
Austin,
and I go, how much money do you have where you buy a expensive vehicle and then you wrap it in something like this? Because you're not going to keep it like this for very long. This is exactly like what Will was saying. It's a meme, right? So it's like you do this, you have fun with it, you go viral, you get people like us talking about it, it's all over the internet. Then 4 weeks from now, you rewrap it. So
I think that's I'm waiting for somebody to put together a documentary about the way that influencers have just become completely freaking nuts. Like, I've been watching videos on YouTube about, like, the time a YouTube streamer like destroyed his entire career. And, that's like the thumbnail. I'm like, oh man, this must be rough. And it's like, they've got YouTubers and streamers and influencers who just like straight up killed their wives and then tried to like escape or try to explain it. They had a dude in Russia who like froze his girlfriend to death by locking her out on the balcony. Yeah. But like, that was a part of the stream. And I feel like that's kind of like, like, I think that there were all these crazy stories about the crypto kids who, that kid who bought $100,000 Porsche literally with just Bitcoin, like an hour before it crashed from the all-time high that it was out. I mean, some of these folks, it's like, this is a part of what they do. Like, to him, that Cybertruck is just another thing that he uses to gain clout. So he's like, wrap it in a Doge, and I'm going to do a video later where somebody's stepping on my nuts in the bed,
We saw that earlier this year, like, especially, I mean, obviously the hot one right now is Whistling Diesel that has done that. But like earlier this year, there was a couple of influencers that were just doing that, just doing stupid stuff, like just hitting it with whatever they could hit it with, just to.
We've shown a lot of those videos, right? Where
exactly
you have people hitting it with bats, and guns, and.
This week, also, what kind of happened on X, it was kind of funny that I got looped into, is that I think the official account put out like a photo that Elon had like reposted and everything that was like, oh, this is the only vehicle that you know what it is without any logos. And they're like, oh, it's so good with no logos. And then Wes shared a meme that was like, not the ShamWow guy, but like the Flex Seal guy being like coming in, Flex Seal meme with like all the influencers, and then slapping on like Cybertruck, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah, and then like QR codes and all this other stuff. And I'm like, dang, I feel tagged.
That's hilarious.
Cybertruck ATX and a QR code on the outside because it's a moving billboard. And then
it really is.
Ironically, who was it? Bearded Tesla that came out like literally the next day, and then his looks like a NASCAR.
Oh yeah, he's got decals all over that thing.
Hell yeah!
I think
he's doing some really cool stuff with that. By the way, that's if you haven't followed him, go check out what they're about to do. They're going to do like an Arctic road trip all the way up to the North Pole.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
You know what? Let's go ahead and show that before
that's a good one to show
because
he's got like stickers to help out and all this really fun stuff. Because he's got the same rack, right? That you've got.
He's got I don't know if
similar,
it's the same exact wrap. I'm trying to find guys. Here, I'll just go to bearded.
Yeah, just bearded.
There we go.
Yeah.
So let me just go ahead and add this.
I think it's with the tent. Yeah, it looks like it has the tent on top too.
Yeah. So he's got he put some tires on there, some wheels, very close setup to what I'm trying to achieve here soon. But yeah, he has all these sponsors. Everybody's sponsoring him, and what he's doing with Tesla Tino is they're heading up to the Arctic Ocean. And what they're doing is, I believe they're installing or taking chargers along with them and having them along the way installed, so that way anybody. Here we go.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you can see right there, he's got this rack, he's got a rooftop tent, he's got a whole setup.
That's
what I find funny is how he has a gas can.
Yeah,
that red can right there is a gas can.
That's for gas.
That's for gas.
The other ones,
the yellow ones are for diesel, and the black ones would be for dirty water, and then the white ones would be for clean water. So,
if I had to guess, he has to have a gas burning generator in the bed, just for safety's sake.
I would assume so.
Unless they have a tow vehicle in tow.
Yeah, it's something very similar to what TFL did way back when with their Ford Lightning. They took it all the way up to Alaska, and they had a Ford F-150 as a recovery vehiple following them, and they ran into some issues too. I remember watching that series, and they ran into some issues with charging and whatnot. But that's what these guys are trying to achieve. They're trying to, from what I understand, they're trying to go up that to the Arctic Ocean and kind of get some chargers put up there for anybody else that wants to do that type of trek.
Anything for the gram, right?
Yeah.
You got to get those photos.
I haven't dipped my toes, but it's like if you hit that engagement wave, I gotta wonder how much money these folks make.
I don't know. I mean, I think this trip, will get a lot of traction, and we'll at least cover even. If I just had to speculate, but yeah, I don't know. I think Bearded Tesla probably does okay because he's got great content and posts regularly, so he's probably getting revenue from that. But yeah, it's interesting. I just want to know about all these sponsor deals that he's got going on with MagBag.
He's got them all. That's
Test Bros. Someone was joking. It was like, save some branding deals for us.
Yeah. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna reach out to. I'll travel. You know what? I'll drive to Costa Rica.
We'll go the opposite way.
Yeah, I'll go where it's warm.
You're gonna go down to Panama while he's up in the Arctic Circle.
Exactly, and I'll go to Panama, and then when I get there, you'll never hear from me again.
I'd be like, where did you go?
So that's actually a really cool thing that I know we're all following. So if anybody's interested in that type of stuff, go ahead and give Bearded Tesla and Tesla Tino follows, because you can follow their journey up to the Arctic Ocean. But other than that, guys, that's all I got. I don't know if you guys got anything else.
Pretty much it.
I turned 44 last weekend.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Happy birthday!
That's all
you sound so excited about it.
I mean, what do you do for like that? I mean, I had Chinese food. It was so good.
Double fours.
Yeah.
It's another golden birthday or whatever.
As my parents, who are avid gamblers, when vacations let them. Yeah, my mom was quick to point out. She's like, "Oh yeah, it's ate the hard way." I'm like, "All right, calm down, lady."
Hey,
do they go play bingo a lot?
I don't want to get you depressed, but we don't have many of those left, so enjoy them while you have them. Okay?
Yeah, I always say never get sad about growing old. Many don't get the pleasure.
Yeah, exactly. And Mark is in chat. Put a little birthday cake for you.
Heck yeah.
Jay is saying that you're still a young man.
Mark's like puppies.
Yeah, and Hugo says happy birthday, Will. So happy birthday, man.
I'd say, I say the puppies comment's half right because at my age, like, you accidentally pee all the time.
A little dribble.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah. I'll only say that that's kind of fun coming up this weekend. I've got the truck right now is at bespoke paint protection to get fixed from our escapade when we jumped the truck. The jump didn't really do anything except for when we got in, we had an issue with the gate that automatically closed onto the side of the truck and damaged our paint protection. So they're actually fixing that up for us.
Nice.
And we got new wheels and tires coming here soon. So
really
exciting.
Nice. Look at
some Falcons and some T-Sport wheels.
There you go. Can't wait to see it. So, all right, guys. Appreciate it.
Cool.
Thank you, everybody in chat. Appreciate everybody that joined us. Everybody on X who joined us. Appreciate you guys as well. We're planning on doing that every week. People on IG, we're never going to do that again. So, all right.
You mean there are people still on IG? Shit.
Yeah, I guess so. There's a couple, but
our audience faded quick. All right.
Wait. One last thing. One last thing. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
We have
the one
KK
more thing
in chat asking anyone trying running boards for the Cybertruck. Well, as a matter of fact, I have running boards. I have running boards on my Cybertruck, and as a matter of fact, I'm glad they brought this up. I have an extra set of running boards. So if there's anybody that's in the Southern California area that would want me to come and install them onto your Cybertruck, I will do that as long as you let me film a little quick video on it.
Ooh, that's good.
So go ahead and leave a comment or hit me up on my email and let me know. But once again, it's got to be Southern California. So, but yes, I have running boards and I enjoy them. So
yes,
thank you guys. Have a good night.
Later.